Hey everybody, my name is Michael Erickson with Digitized Designs, and today I have set up the Trackscan Sharp S, and I wanted to demonstrate its probing capabilities. We know it can scan in its incredible measurement volume, about 135 cubic meters, but we can also probe in that same space. The probe itself is a carbon fiber frame. There's a couple buttons on the back here to help us take measurements and change some settings on the fly. Similar to our scanner, there's markers on the front of this that are going to be watched by the tracker to keep all of our data in the same coordinate system. The probe itself, I have on here a standard 3mm ruby, and that obviously can change to 6 or some other tooling. The software I'm running is Polyworks, and I have a part here on a table. And so first thing I'm going to do in this process is I'm going to align to this part, just get my tracker aligned to our assembly. I've got a small program loaded up with a couple features already defined on the object, on the CAD model, and we'll jump in and probe those. There's a trigger on the probe itself, which I'll click to take a point. If there was a bad point that I wanted to get rid of, I can also press, there's an X button on the probe itself as well to kind of back up and retake that point. Cool. Now I know it's asking for this inside cylinder, so I'll go ahead and measure that one. Cool, and then another one in here. I know it's asking for this, another cylinder back here for alignment. All right, we'll do a quick best fit to those features. That'll put everything in place and us relative to the CAD, to the object in real space. So now if I bring my probe back over to my part, that red indicator in the software tells me that I'm just about aligned to it. Perfect. What's cool about the probe is I can take a point here, or I can walk over here and also take a point. So as long as that tracker sees me, I can still take data points. And I'll just show you what that looks like. So if there were extra features on here that I wanted to take data points on, I can keep adding those. Or if I need to come all the way back here, this is about 20 feet from my tracker, I can also start to take points too. What's also neat, because I have these markers on the probe, the tracker only needs to see a portion of these. So if I have to drop behind a wall to get a hidden point and it only can see a fraction, I can do that as well. And I can block up to 8 of those. We'll go ahead and hide these. Now I do have that part in the very back of the room. So let me measure a cylinder on there, and then we'll take a dimension. In this case, I can take as many points as I want. Once I'm ready to compensate, I'll hit that check mark. Perfect. That gives me a cylinder on the top of that part. I'll orient this so it makes sense. And then we'll take a dimension from those 2 cylinders. We'll go cylinder 1, cylinder 3. Perfect. And right now my units are millimeters. And I can report this out, create views, create my report however I need to. If I want to switch those units, I can easily switch back to inches. Well, now that I've already aligned to that part, if I did want to add scan data, it's a very easy process. I just have to start a new scan. It pops open the T-Viewer software plugin. So now I click data on this, just like we were if we were just, back to what we know, scanning. When I'm happy with the data that I have collected, I'll go ahead and stop that. And we'll accept it and drop it right back into PolyWorks. Hit accept, puts it right down on top of our CAD model. So that's our scan data right on top of it. There's a couple different ways we can get rid of that. We can either select it independently and delete that out, or there's a couple macros that we can use to our advantage, like this one from PolyWorks, Clean Data. It's basically going to ask me what data I want to get rid of, and I want to select everything that's not next to my CAD surface. I'll hit Clean, it'll select everything outside of it. If I'm okay with that, I hit the next step. Now I'm left with just scan data on top of my part. With all that scan data, one of the first things we like to do is a heat map. Just kind of run this, and this will basically tell me my quick deviations between my actual part and my CAD model. And of course, now we're back into doing everything we love in PolyWorks in terms of setting dimensions and tolerances, everything we're familiar with. All right, hopefully that gives you a good idea of how to probe with the Trackscan Sharp. If you have any other questions, let us know. Feel free to reach out to us.